Hey there, Alex here. Welcome to another episode on Sweet Spot Soul, and I've got lots to give you. So, a couple of things first and foremost. I'm going deep. I'm going into mechanics and into scientific stuff, but I want you to know this is all about consciousness. This is all about energy. This is not about the mind. I mean, everything is energy and consciousness and so on. And yes, our body is important, and our mental body and our emotional body are important. And I want to really, really help this to sink in with you guys for a number of reasons. And I'll try to continue to bring it back to that. Yes, there are practical things to know, then kind of rules along this journey, this twin flame journey, and getting from where you are into inner union. And I will continue to hammer it home that inner union is the goal here because everything else comes after that. And that's what I'm here to focus on. And yes, I will get into more and more just practical everyday things. So do subscribe. But if you like the science, if you really want to try to see this from more, like if you're really loving getting into twin flame content and you just keep hearing the same thing over and over because you have those doubts still creeping up, then it's important to start to really elevate your understanding and your reasoning to some degree to be able to really trust in this process, knowing that you're on the right path, even when it doesn't feel like it makes sense. I'm trying to bridge that very, very fine, razor sharp line between consciousness and spirituality and science, all of those things right on that razor's edge. It's a very, very, I guess you could call it an eye of the needle that we're going through as we're moving from harmonic universe 1, which is dimensions 1, 2, 3, which is this planet that we live in, this third dimension that we say, into harmonic universe 2 and above, which is going to be every other dimension above that. So 4, 5, 6, all the way through to 15, actually, in our time space matrix. And so I'm going to give you some really kind of maybe even slightly controversial aspects here and pieces of science that you can take or leave as you like. But again, no, I'm going to bring this into practical as well. But if you like this stuff, then sit down, get ready, because I'm going to dive into some goodies right now. So and before I go on, please make sure you subscribe to my other channel where I talk about all the same stuff without the twin flame focus bets, because I serve people on and all walks of life. And so that is under my name. You'll see it in the description box here. I think there's a link also in the information about this page, but it's under my name. So Alex Sabatelli Rager. And the name of the podcast is Love in Waves, but you'll find it under my name in terms of the channel. So make sure you subscribe to that too, because you'll just get that much more understanding. And I just did a really long video explaining a lot of stuff that I don't want to re-explain here, that you're going to want to watch over there. I'm wearing the same thing. Okay. And and it should be released right around the same time. So I'm not even sure how I want to start this. There's so many sections to this. I don't know how deep I can go today, but I think what I want to start with is a really high level here for you to understand. Indeed, there are many twins out there. Okay, there's many aspects of you out there. And so I've done a few videos before this that I want you to check out. So of course, your twin flame is you pushed out. That one's a really basic, it's not basic, but it talks about you being, moving through the fourth dimension and into the fifth and sixth dimension, actually the fifth dimension and above, which is where you can meet your twin flame and what your twin flame actually is, which is higher aspects of you, the non-physical parts of you, opposite, that are opposite to you, but also expanded. And then all possibilities. It's just all different realms of possibilities. Really, everything above the dimension we live in here are all possibilities. And your twin flame is the opposite possibilities than what you've lived here. And that manifests in the 3D as your physical twin, should you have met the physical twin, but there's different twins. And that also means there's soulmates and there's karmic relationships and all kinds of different people and in situations that come in that are part of the overall picture of what your twin flame is, which is your soul, which is the wholeness, the rest of you, right? It's I say the rest of you, it's the aspects of you that are not fragmented off, right? That are totally integrated when you put it all together and include all the possibilities of this soul stream that is you. And they are essentially in the 3D found in all of these different people. Okay. And I'm going to show you specifically the number of people that carry aspects of all the codes of your DNA to be able to, that we are trying to reintegrate and put ourselves back into wholeness, into that next level, which is what your soul is calling you to do. You've been initiated into this journey to move back up into wholeness, and then to birth through that wholeness into the 3D, your full monadic self. Okay, that higher monadic self, huge. And you have, if you're, again, I say if only because a lot of people think they're on the journey that are not, but it doesn't matter. Your journey is to inner union. You are on the journey. You've been initiated enough to land here, if you're still listening to this. So you are on the journey to this, and you have met somebody or many people who have triggered and have shared codes with you that are helping you along your awakening path, along your reintegration back into your wholeness, so that you can embody soul. Okay. And there's many things that we have taken on, distortions, which I say taken on, we have decided outside of how source sees things, and we have created fractions and basically just disowned parts of ourselves that we are, again, finding and reintegrating in the people in our lives, lost parts of us, so we can I say heal because it is, in a sense, healing, but it's really more alchemizing distortion with higher oscillating frequencies. Okay, so lower vibrations into higher frequencies. The higher frequencies will alchemize that and transmute that. So we have room to embody more higher frequency, higher light, higher oscillation. And that's what's going to move us up into these higher states. So, wow, where do I even freaking start? Oh, there's just so much. Okay, I know I brought this up before. I just want to bring it up again. Harmonic universes. I want to just really quickly point this out. This is the blueprint of 12-strand DNA. It's also the divine blueprint of pretty much everything in the reality. Now, right now, we are living in a 10, in basically 10-strand or a tree of life with only 10, and that's a distortion. And we are reintegrating and putting together ourselves back into the divine blueprint of 12. Okay, I'm not going all into that today, but I want to show you this because harmonic universe 1, where we live, is dimensions 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you can call this in the person. Actually, you know what? I just went through this on the other channel. Go watch it over there because I went through this, but I do want to just quickly say dimensions 1, 2, and 3. This is your subconscious mind, your emotional body, or your emotional mind, or your emotional body, really, and your mental body. Okay, so these three are here in this physical and are operating here and creating this reality. Okay, so we run things through those three. And incidentally, I work with the body code, the emotion code, and belief code, which really work on helping to clear these centers, because we are moving into harmonic universe number 2, which is the soul. Okay, and this is the soul matrix, and this includes 4, 5, and 6. And so the astral realm is 4, and then 5 would be neutral, and then 6 is going to be the angelic. Okay, I think that's the angelic. I believe that is. Yes, it is. I could be wrong. Sorry. Don't quote me on that one, but I know that this is astral. I think that's angelic. It is. And then we've got, of course, the oversoul line. And this is really where we begin in terms of our journey, and our incarnation begins at the oversoul, which is right here, smack in the center. So this is a neutral point. This is a neutral point. And these are phasing with masculine, feminine, and neutral. So I did that video a couple back, really talking about the phasing of what happens with the source particle and the masculine and feminine, and they phase together. And each of these levels also phase together. So we live in a phase lock of 1, 2, and 3 in this dimension, in this harmonic universe 1. And as we move into harmonic universe 2, we are phasing between 4, 5, and 6. And when you watch that video, you pushed out, or the metaphysical roles of twin flames is another one. And there's another one also. I think it's just about the paradox or something. Those 3 have more of this kind of conversation. But as we are moving through 4, 5, and 6, that's the masculine, feminine, and the neutral point. We really keep talking about 5th dimension, but really it's fifth dimension, or the higher heavens of the 4th, which is the heart chakra, into all of these other dimensions, these higher chakras, all of the other higher chakras. And then, of course, there's actually 13, 14, and 15, which are light and sound fields, but are also part of our time matrix. And those are also something that we can bring in to our reality. Cool stuff. So we're moving from the physical to all this non-physical. Okay. And we are really, we're just pulling between these two right now. So I think what I'll do right now, I was going to talk about all the different incarnations. I think I'll do that on another video since I have this little foundation. What I do want to say though about this transition, I think this will be important, and then I can maybe keep this video a little shorter. What's important to understand about this transition is as we move from dimension 3, right, third dimension, into the fifth and higher, which is what we say, right? We are multidimensional. We have access to these all the time, but we're looking for our station of identity to be in the higher realms so that we're not down here anymore. So we're no longer suffering. We're not getting pulled down. And the way I've been explaining this recently with some of my clients is if you can imagine like, a bird of prey or an eagle or something, a hawk, trying to fly and soar, and you get initiated onto this journey, and it's like the wind comes up from under your wings and it's wanting to just lift you up into the higher dimensions of living in these higher stations of identity. But your talons are just clinging on to third dimensional realities, the lower belief systems, the lower frequencies of everything. And when you think about it, think about relationships, right? We are moving into a whole different type of relationship, into relating from unconditional love, right? Unconditional love means no conditions. That is fifth dimension. That's not just fourth dimension. That's just not just the heart. That's higher heart. That's here. Actually, the highest part of the heart is at the monad. It's right here. And we will talk about that when I get into more about the incarnations and how many incarnations there are, and who's your twin? Do we have more than one twin? Question is answered right now. Yes, we do. And I will talk about that. Sorry, trigger alert, but we do. Not necessarily in this lifetime right here now, but we do. It just depends on what station of identity that you're living in your incarnation, okay? But we are moving up and we're holding on to all of these structures of the 3D. And so when you move into the heart, there's no condition in that kind of a relating experience with other people, which means when you look at, like a regular, quote unquote, regular relationship with maybe a soulmate or a karmic or a soulmate that's got karmic lessons that you're going to learn or whatever, right? Other relationships, even your children and so on. Maybe not your children as much, but even still the children. There's conditions, right? It's like, what do you love about them? You can list a whole bunch of things that you love or don't love or that bother you or that you'd love to change or control or whatever. Conditions, preferences, things that you're attached to, things you don't want, things you want to push away, attractions and aversions, all of these conditions around the way that you relate with just about everybody when you live in the lower dimensions. Okay, not worse, they're just the lower dimensions. But if that's your station of identity, okay, you can still live in the 3D, but not have your station of identity be third dimensional. As you move into the higher astral and into the heart and love, and then into the thymus, right, or the lower thymus gland, which is the azure point, excuse me, that's where your spark is. That's where your twin flame is. That's where the flame is. That's the monad, okay? This is D8 right here. And when you move into those levels, those higher levels, again, no conditions. You can actually see anyone without condition. You don't have to love everyone. They're not going to necessarily be the person you decide you want to spend all your days with, because there may not be a resonance in your frequency, in your core resonance, right? But you're not judging them. You are not trying to control them. You're not running this way or that way. You're able to still see them through the eyes of God as another aperture, through the aperture of the eye of God that you are, and see that that's another. But they may have many, many, many layers between them and that truth in the way that they are being in the world. But the more you are in alignment with your truth, the more you can see. And the more graceful you are, the more accepting you are, the more that you can just love them for who they are without it being love in the third dimensional sense of conditions. Because every bit of love in the third dimension is based in fear. It's all conditions. It's all things that we, again, are attracted to or push away from or want to control, right? So we're moving out of that, right? And we know that in this journey. But also what happens when we go through the dark night of the soul is you're literally, all of the structures that are based down in these lower 3 chakras, these beliefs and so on, all of this is falling away. These are the ego structures. And I will talk about the phasing that happens between twins as well. I think it's probably going to be maybe a 3-part series here. I'll see how much I can do tonight. I might be wearing the same thing for a few videos, but there's a lot to say here, and it's kept me from getting on video because there's so much. And it's like, how do I even chunk this out? So I'm just going to let it keep flowing. Nonetheless, your ego gets triggered and wants you cannot it's like, again, the wind is beneath your wings and pulling you, and you have to let go. It's like you are forced to let go of the way you used to see things. You are forced to let go of relationships that no longer serve you. Now, it doesn't mean there aren't still lessons to learn and some hanging on that's going to happen, of course. And especially with the twin, there's all kinds of hanging on to the conditions and the expectations and the way you want it to be and the old stories and all the constructs of the lower mind, right? Or the mental and emotional mind and the subconscious mind. So all those beliefs and so on. Yeah, all of that stuff has to go. And we say, oh yeah, you can just get into soul, but you can, and you can get yourself to meditate and be here. Absolutely. Or into the astral realm. Absolutely. But are you going to stay there? No, because the gravity of all the crap that needs to still be cleared so that this embodiment can happen. So you can bring it into the 3D. Your soul wants to be birthed into the 3D, but we have to clear so that it can do that, right? We have to clear all the stuff. It's like you met the twin and you got triggered so that you could clear all the space for that embodiment of soul to come in. And then, whether it's the twin or another resonant or other resonant people in this journey, of course, if you met your actual twin flame, then yes, it'll most likely be your twin flame. But all of that happens after. So that's why the separation is such a golden part of this journey, because you have the time and the space to be able to release and create the space for the soul to come in and be birthed into the 3D. And then the same happens for the other. And again, granted, all other relationships as well, you're able to pick up pieces and reintegrate and bless them as well and help them. They're all there for a reason. You created all of it. It's all part of your hologram. So you're able to get, to give and receive from every single relationship, okay, no matter what they are. And so you're putting those pieces back together again so that your wholeness and the wholeness that the twin can bring and other people can bring can create the most rich, amazing next level types of relating experiences. And that's when the two whole people, two whole souls that have reintegrated themselves into a beautiful, perfect Merkaba, and I'll go through those on another video really soon here. I've got it written out. Then they're able to then merge and blend and move up to the next harmonic universe, which is that oversoul universe. That's the third harmonic universe right here, okay? The oversoul matrix. So we're moving from clearing this stuff out because we're on our way here right now. We become whole individually here as an individual. Then you merge with the twin and you're moving into that oversoul level. That's the monad. That's the monadic level. This is why the higher heart is where you feel that fluttering and that meeting place with your twin, right? Have you felt that? That like, it's like these little waves out of the azurate point right here in the lower thymus. It's the higher heart, they call it. That's what's happening. And that is in this harmonic universe. And most people aren't going there, but that's the journey you're on. But as long as you keep holding on to all the third dimensional structures and not allow yourself to fully embody and live at this soul level, at that beautiful perfection, the perfection of your own inner balance of masculine, feminine, that inner union, that Heros Gamos, that's when you can merge with the other and move into next levels. That's what you came here for. It's huge. It's amazing. And it takes time. So I hope that you have some grace and you create the room for that and that you're working towards that. Because if you make it all about just hanging on to the 3D or trying to manipulate the 3D, that's already in your hologram. That's your creation already. You can't mess with the creation. You become the creator and you uncreate the things that are no longer serving you. You let go with the talons of the work that's no longer going to work. And here's the thing. All of the stuff in your life, like I said, I was mentioning the ego comes up first pretty much and says you can no longer look this way or not look, but like look at things this way or have this perspective. It just challenges everything. But then any work that you're doing, relationships, friendships, like anything that's going on in your 3D world that was created upon falsity or upon judgment or in any way other than source sees it will fall away. Not doesn't mean your whole life has to fall apart, but if it's based in falsity, if it's based in what is not or was not in the highest and best, if it's not in alignment any longer with that journey, it will fall away because you will be perpetually pulled now into this dimension, into this harmonic universe number two and higher, right? To live there, to reside there. Again, you can always move up and through here all the time, okay? But I'm talking about your station of identity, where your core resonant frequency is up in that area. And again, I'm going to just really quickly pull this out. Here it is again. It's all right here. This is that fourth dimension in the green, and then you move into the fifth dimension, and then into the higher heart, and then all the way up, if you want to, into beyond the oversoul and into the avatar matrix, which is up here. And we can do this in this lifetime. In this lifetime, okay? You can do that, especially as a twin and with your twin. So make it your journey, like your absolute at one-ment is the most important thing, at one with source. Inner union is so key because when you get there and this is your place that you be, then it triggers and allows for your twin to go through that process and that metamorphosis on their own as well, because you must individuate separately on your own. You can't do it together because you are one energetic. And so you will cross-contaminate each other with all of the lower judgments and all the lower distortions until they're cleared. Okay, this is, again, why I do the work I do, because I'm clearing at the emotional level, at the mental level, and at the body as well with the subconscious. This is emotion code, body code, and belief code. It's all working with the energetics here so that you can clear, obviously you're equipped to do this on your own, of course, and I have teaching on this channel about it. So please go back and watch my teachings on this, on how to transmute love into fear, or fear into love. There's many different videos about that. So I now will get back into that nitty-gritty. But I want you to get this big picture of where you're going so you can really dig in when you're having a really crappy day, or when you keep trying to look at the 3D and like, oh, but if only they would just leave that person or whatever, and recognize, no, that is just playing out here. This is where you are. You're already here. You're moving your way further up from here so you can station yourself permanently in love and above. Honestly, you're really going for unconditional love up here in the higher heart. And all of your chakras will be active, of course, of course. And again, this will trigger your twin. Again, watch you pushed out and I think the metaphysical roles of twin flames. I think I did something in there, and then the paradox. I think those are the three kind of ones where I kind of go into this stuff. And I think a couple of, anyway, just watch them all if you like this stuff at all. Anyway, so I wanted to share all that stuff because letting go of the 3D is not by choice anymore. You will be perpetually, since you're triggered onto this, perpetually pulled into the 5D. And there's no escaping that. That is what that pull is. That's that feeling that you're constantly feeling. It's not the twin. It's actually your soul that's calling you. So every time you feel that, and you don't feel an open, loving feeling, it's because there's something in you that is still not owning that as you, as your own soul. It's the source of love is you. The source of your soul is you. And it's just reflected in its opposite in your twin flame, and also in every other relationship to some degree. So there's value in every relationship. And most of the people that work with me are absolutely twin flames. And even if you're not, you can still go for inner union. That's what I was doing before I even met my twin. I think it's what pulled my twin in, honestly, that was my main focus. I knew I wanted to get to unconditional love. I was locked in on it after reading all of David Hawkins' books. I'm like, that's where I'm going. And I knew it was a doable thing. But man, did I have so much self worth issues, like you've no idea. I had some really key things down here, even though I was up here with everyone else. Like I had no problem. And that's part of my story you've already probably heard. So anyways, I wanted to kind of give that framework again, or maybe a little bit more detailed than I did before. Recognize, again, you're moving from harmonic universe 1 to 2, and you have to let go of the talents, because all of the things, again, that were created in falsity, or that are created in conditions, or attachments, or aversions, or ego, okay, are being let go. It's the only way you'll find that peace and that joy and that love and get into that space of abundance and creation and being a co-creator, being not only a manifester, but like literally a material, you can materialize, okay? Materialize. How exciting, right? And so that's where you're going. And so let go. let go, and make the steps. Don't be the victim here, okay? And like, oh my gosh, everything's falling apart. I get it. I get it. I went through it. Where's the money, the financial, the abundance? I can't get this work or whatever. That's all. Just recognize there's a deep surrender in knowing, okay, soul's got me. Okay, soul has put me on this journey, and I know that I need to let go of the ego structures. I need to let go of the attractions and aversions, all the expectations, all of the controlling of things and the attachments, and trust. And then that's when you start to move into that feminine, and that's when you start to move into, well, actually really the balance, but it's this deep knowing, this divine nature of asking and knowing it's coming and receiving that, and then taking that action that's nudged. That's that divine masculine from within. We have both parts within, and we're looking to create this beautiful balance for ourselves, this beautiful Merkaba for ourselves. And then, when the same happens for your masculine, or for your divine counterpart, I should say, when they also come into that balance, then the two together, you recognize what's going on there. And I will talk about that. What's going on there is this, you're phase locked with them, and you're actually passing through in the higher dimensions. You're sharing your energies constantly. This is how we are quantumly entangled with our divine partners and our twins. Okay. And that's happening in the higher realms. And when you're whole, and you're both whole, and you're able to do this, then that's when the two can come together and be birthed into this realm. Okay, so you have these two souls that are now merging back together into a monad level. Okay, so beautiful. Okay, that's what I'm going to leave it with today. I've got a bunch of other notes here. I'm not sure if I'll do another one right now, but I definitely have more to share. And in fact, what I'm going to promise right now is I will be talking about the different numbers of twins and the different levels of twins. I think that's really important for you to get just an overall picture. Don't worry, I'm going to change anything with your situation. It's all good. Okay, let go of the attachments to the concepts. This is another one. And then I'm also going to talk about, there was another thing that I mentioned. I'll probably catch it when I watch this replay. But it was important. So yeah, lots of stuff. I've got a bunch of notes, so there'll be more coming up. And I want to thank you for your attention. Okay, I hope that you subscribed if you found this interesting. If this is too out there for you, totally cool. I understand that too. There's other videos that may serve you a little bit more deeply, but if this is in resonance for you, I just want you to know that I really, really feel such a deep, deep connection to all of you. I wouldn't be working in this realm if I wasn't so called. I mean, I was called to the floor to work in this realm. I needed to. And I'm just really feeling so grateful. And I mean, I have so much gratitude every day. I pinch myself working with you guys. It's incredible. It's incredible. I feel like we're all one, like we're all pulling each other back together, like our own fragments are coming back together into our wholeness together as part of these families, these soul families I'm going to talk about. It's just beautiful. And I'm so energized at the end of the day. I'm not drained at all. I'm literally energized by working with you guys. It's incredible. It's an honor. And I want to thank you for your attention and for your comments, your patience with me, that I don't comment quickly. I don't put out a ton of videos. I try to add something new, and that I'm not just rehashing the old same stuff. Now, granted, I'm not saying old stuff as if it's not valuable. I want you to get the content you need wherever you feel you need to get it. I'm trying to add something new, a different flavor, but I'm also going to bring this together always into practical ways that you can do this day in and day out. I'm not trying to make this more difficult. I want you to just see higher concepts, so that, again, when that doubt's creeping in, when the longer separations are there, or when you're trying to come together and understand the energetics of this thing, it really does help to have that high reason. Okay, that high reason is it's in the fifth dimension, just right here, just before this locking it in. It's right in here. This wisdom. It helps you to discern. It helps you to discern other relationships and what's going on for you, and build that belief, so that when you feel it, when you turn the corner and it locks in and you feel it in the body, you can let go of the wisdom at that point. It's part of you then, because you know it, you've experienced it, it's part of who you are. And I think that's so important, because that gnosis really comes from experience. But getting there, we can hold ourselves down so much on this journey. It is so difficult. And so the more we can let go of the 3D, and understand through high reason and through science and metaphysics and from consciousness. We're studying consciousness right now. All right, that's what we're talking about, and that is love. That is God. That is the source, as much as it is part of the mind, because this reality we live in is from the mind. We create it. Everything is positives and negatives. It's all masculine, feminine, and source. It's all the Trinity in action. This is how we be. But we are multidimensional, and we're stepping out of it being locked in the 3D and really being able to travel into the higher dimensions with your twin or by yourself. We are all here on that. So that's what I want to share. I will see you in the next video. Thank you again for your attention. And until then, have a great rest of your day.